Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the AI session scene. Our next speaker will tackle a question that many entrepreneurs and innovators ask themselves. Should I patent this idea? In his talk, he will share a clear process to help you understand what is really worth protecting and what is not, so you can focus your time and resources on what matters most. I am very happy to welcome Todd Bailey, Vice President of Intellectual Property and Legal Affairs at Scale AI. With more than 25 years of experience, Todd has guided hundreds of Canadian companies in their IP strategies and has been involved in over 100 artificial intelligence projects. He is a lawyer, a patent and trademark agent, and an engineer, which gives him a unique perspective on today's IP challenges with AI. So please join me in warmly welcoming Todd Bailey.
Good afternoon. Bonjour tout le monde. What if you had spent thousands and thousands of dollars and countless hours of your time to create something that someone just took and threw in the trash? I was talking with a serial entrepreneur recently who had actually just finished an exit, a really good exit, the kind that kind of make entrepreneurs sleep well at night. And the deal had closed, and it had been a few months. But it's what he told me about his patents that I found really interesting. He had 10 patents in his company. And when the acquiring company, who knew a fair bit about patents themselves, went through those patents, out of those 10, they decided to keep exactly one. The other 9, in the trash, abandoned. They didn't try to license them, they didn't try to sell them, they didn't even try to keep them in their own portfolio. That's pretty harsh. That's a harsh story. But I'll tell you, from my own unscientific research, from the AI patents that I've read, and I've read a lot, about 96% will not be effective for the companies that filed them. They will not. And that's a crazy statistic, if you think about it. There's 4 out of 100 patents actually make a difference. And when I talked to that serial entrepreneur about his experience, he said, I didn't really know that much about patents, but my advisors, my mentors, they were telling me that we should file. So we filed 10. We had 10 granted patents. But it was a waste of my time. And you could see legitimately why this founder was looking at the patent system and saying, the system's broken. But I'm going to tell you something. The system is not broken, but the decisions people are making about what to patent in AI and why are missing the mark. And so today what I want to talk to you about, I want to give you a window into why that's happening, but I want to do more than that. I'm actually going to give you a tool to help you make good decisions to be consistently in that 4%. Okay? So let's dive in. If anybody has tried to file or thought about filing patents, it's not an easy decision, is it? It can be gut-wrenching. It's not only expensive, but it's completely unclear what you should be patenting or why. Some people say patent everything, some people say patent nothing. Like, what's the right thing to do? It's very confusing. And, this 96% of patents that I've read, the reason that these didn't do well is because those people didn't know what they were doing either. And so you're not alone if you feel like that. And so we look for advice. We go to a patent professional, a patent expert, and they're going to talk about patentable, something that is possible to patent. It's kind of circular, isn't it? You can patent something that's possible to patent. It doesn't really help clear the air, but let me go back to that serial entrepreneur and the 96% of patents. Those were all patents. They were all patentable. And yet they didn't have what it takes to be effective for the people that filed them. So whatever patentable is, it's not enough. We need something more. So to understand what's going on here and why patents aren't broken but it's not working, we're going to have a bit of a history lesson, okay? And I can see your eyes already glazing over. Don't worry, it's just one slide, so it's not too much history. But let's talk about what's been happening for the last 200 years in patents. It's technology like this, where the IP and the product is exposed, right? You can see what the technology is. Your competitors can pick up your product and figure it out and copy it. And when you're completely exposed like that, the patent is really the only way to protect your IP, to protect your ideas that are in this product. You're completely exposed, and that's the only way. So this is 200 years of patenting, and it's still how we think about patents in hardware in general, med tech and green technology and so on. But let's think about AI now. Your product is completely different, right? Your product is what appears on a screen somewhere, right? Your technology is somewhere else. The IP that's driving your product, the technology that's driving it's not exposed for the most part. It's not vulnerable to be reverse engineered. It's remote. And the patent is not the only way to deal with your IP issues when it comes to AI. In fact, the reasons that we patented our mousetraps are not even, for the most part, present when it comes to these kinds of technologies, right? So what's happening is that 96% of the time in my own unscientific research, people are patenting mousetraps when they should be thinking about how AI has changed the paradigm. And that's what has actually changed. And that's what I want to sort of communicate to you today, that the things that we think about, the things that we need to focus on and drive towards when it comes to AI patenting are not the technology. They're not the best ideas because they're not exposed the way. And think about your clients. Your clients aren't excited about your technology. Your clients are excited about the service, the value you're delivering to them. That's what's driving. And today's technology is probably going to be different tomorrow and the next day and next week. And yet that value that you're delivering to the client is the business opportunity. So let's unpack how that paradigm has changed. As I've just said, AI is not really about the technology. Of course it's about the technology. The technology is what's driving everything. But what's driving the business considerations are the results that you can deliver, the use cases and the things that are being delivered to clients, right? So that's the first thing, is there's got to be a focus on the business opportunity. Of course there's technology, because we're talking about patents. There's always going to be some technology, but it's a technology that's being used, it's technology in action to deliver a service or an outcome or a use case to a client, right? So that business is really important. So your patents, if AI patenting is about the business and not just the technology, the patents have to align to your business strategy, to your value proposition, to what it is that you are here to bring. Whoops, I pressed the back button, I'm sorry. And the third thing is, it's not just, patenting isn't something that happens to you. Effective patents are the result of a planning exercise. You decide where where the right opportunities are, and you go and mine for them. And it's like I said, it's part of your strategizing and part of how you operate your business, which, okay, sounds confusing, but this is empowering because this is something you already do every day. Operating your business, growing your business, this is what you are all about. And this is actually where patenting fits in, okay? So now that I've cleared all this up, theoretically, maybe it should be easier to file patents, but it's not. It's still not easy deciding what to patent. So the good news is that help has arrived, and I'm going to share something. There's a QR code at the end, by the way, so you don't have to worry about taking pictures, but feel free if you'd like to. But I've created something that I hope is going to help you make sure that you're consistently in that 4%. And what that is a free white paper. You can download it, share it, whatever you like, by Scale AI. Now, I'm just going to pause for a second and brief commercial message for Scale AI. Scale AI is the ones who brought you all in today. Part of what we do, of course, we fund projects in AI adoption in the ecosystem. We also are here to help the ecosystem grow, in particular startups and so on and so forth. And part of that mission is resulting in guides like the one I'm sharing with you today to help raise everybody's sort of appreciation and understanding of how to use intellectual property as a business tool, okay? So what's in this guide? What's in this guide is actually a real concrete 10-step process. Like I said, I'm going to let you, that you follow, and you end up with a result as a result of answering some basic questions about your idea that either says, you know what, go the secret route, keep your idea secret, don't patent it, or if you make it to the bottom of the chart, this is something that's going to put you in that 4% of effective patents. And when I say effective patents, patents that can help move the needle for your business, okay? Now, and besides the chart, there's lots of information in there explaining each of the steps so that you can help sort of understand and how to navigate that process. As far as I know, I've never seen anything like this before. Maybe there's something out there, but I haven't seen anything like this. So I hope you're going to find it helpful. But what I'd like to do is sort of dig into, just at a high level, because you'll be able to have the guide and sort of have it available to you. But there's 4 steps that I think are not intuitive, that are maybe against that mousetrap view of the world when you're thinking about patents, that I just wanted to highlight for you. The first one is, and this is number 1 on the chart, because I believe it's number 1 issue in AI, and the main reason why those 96%, ended up in that, and why maybe 90% of the entrepreneurs is it detectable? There is no patent police. When you have a patent, you yourself have to be able to see when someone else is using it. And it's relevant because if you've seen a patent, it's full of words that describes in great detail what the invention is. And it's there, it gets published, the whole world can read it. So you've given away your invention. But if you can't detect if someone's using it, you have no way of bringing value back, okay? So this is why this is number 1, and this is, you may have heard, should I patent my algorithm? Most algorithms cannot be detected. They are on that server. They're not, susceptible to reverse engineering. It's probably one of the last things that you should think about patenting. Not only that, but your algorithm's probably going to be different tomorrow and next week and next year when you improve it. So is it detectable? Number 1 threshold question. And in AI, you're going to understand that 90% or more of the ideas you bring to this chart are going to go out the side door on the very first step. So patenting has become, for edge cases in AI, if you want an effective patent, a patent that will help your business grow. All right, so that's super important to put up front at the beginning, not to waste our time with all these other sort of legal questions that may get asked about patentable and all that sort of stuff. Because if it's not detectable, patents aren't the right tool. A square peg in a round hole. The second one that I talked about a moment ago is alignment with your value proposition. The way I like to describe it is this. If you imagine that your company, or any company, has decided that they want to open source some software to help drive a business objective. Maybe it's to bring clients in or to build a community or something like that. If you're going to open source software to help grow your business, that software is not going to be some random side project or some really advanced technology, that someone came up with, right? Because it's not related to your business. It's not going to drive those business outcomes that you're hoping to drive. And so it's exactly the same with patents in AI. You want that patent to be an opportunity to help you with fundraising, to maybe drive acquisition interest in your, for your exit strategy, or maybe even help, attract, a partner, a collaborator who, sees you as the only game in town sort of thing. These are growth opportunities. That old mousetrap protection, isn't the same in AI, okay? So is it aligned with my value proposition is super, super important. It has to be like what your startup is all about, what your business is all about. The patent has to sort of reinforce one of those differentiators or something like that. Now, this is one that's maybe the most unintuitive. Do I have a clear objective? Because I think most people think that patents are something you just register, and that if you have a patent, your patent is just as good as your patent is just as good as your patent. And it's not like that at all. If you've seen a patent, what's it full of? It's got a couple drawings, but it's full of words, isn't it? It's full of words, thousands of words. So someone has to choose which words to put into your patent application, and two excellent, well-seasoned, experienced patent drafters, patent experts, could draft two extremely different patents, depending on how they wanted to craft those. So you need to have a clear objective. What is it that I want this patent to do, okay? We already know from the mousetrap example is it's not going to stop people from doing anything for the most part if you're focused on the technology. If you're focused on the business opportunity, then there may be something there. But for startups, patent litigation is expensive. You're not going to be able to afford that. What you need to focus on are something that can move the needle for your growth objectives, okay? So, do I know what my patent needs to do? That's really, really important because it's going to color the words that go into your application, and it's going to color the kind of patent that comes out the other end. And the last thing I want to focus on that's just very quickly, a lot of people will tell you you should file your patent as soon as possible. And the reason that they do that is we have something that's called a first-to-file patent system, that if there's two people that file an application for the same invention, whoever's first in line will have the best chance of getting a patent. But when you live in a world, not the mousetrap world where the technology drives everything, but if you live in a world where it's the business opportunity, and you still haven't found fit yet, like your market fit, how are you going to patent something that you haven't figured out yet, right? You're going to be filing a patent for technology. And when that business opportunity finally comes, you're either going to have to file again, so now you're doing two patents instead of one, or you're going to be stuck with your technology patent that didn't actually describe the business opportunity, and someone else is going to come in and do the same business but with a little bit different technology. Okay? So you can't file too soon. There's a Goldilocks time for filing. Not too soon, not too late. Really important. And that's basically what I wanted to share with you today. Got a couple minutes, but I don't mind giving that back to you. Business is the focus, not just technology. Okay, it's technology in action, solving a customer problem, something that clients care about. Alignment to your strategy is essential, and it's planning that's the most important. So there's some QR codes up there. If you want to download the guide on the right, if you want to follow me on LinkedIn or connect with me on LinkedIn, that's the QR code on the left. There's French and English. And I would be happy if you copied and shared that with people. It's not copyright protected or anything like that. So, all right? Great. Thank you very much for your time.